Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of AngularAir. I am your host, Justin, and on today's episode, we're starting part 1 of 3. We are going to be building out or hacking on and working on a replacement for our scheduling solution for scheduling episodes for AngularAir. We currently use Calendly as an application, and it's been great, but it's more feature rich than what we need. We need just something simple. So we're going to build something simple in Angular as a team of 3. And we talked about earlier, like, are we going to pair program? It's not really pair program, is it? It's like, what's the term for 3 people programming together?
Peach programming.
Peach program.
Apple program.
The Matrix.
Cherry program.
All right. Any one of the above would work. All right, so it's just going to be our squad doing this today. So we don't have any specific guests or anything. We're going to do 3 episodes over the next couple weeks, and it's just going to be the 3 of us making this happen. Yeah. So I'll say hi to our panelists. We'll be everybody. Mike, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on? I stole your line. See what I did there?
Wait, is that his line? I think it is.
Yeah, it was to start every show.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like Justin.
All right. I appreciate that. I think, yeah. Alyssa, how's it going?
Great. I'm so excited to be here. And also code.
All right. So
I'm so excited for our 1 hour sprint.
1 hour we do.
I know. I really think we all should take our expectations that are here and just, here's good.
Well, we have 3 episodes, right? So
yeah.
like,
I know. Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
We can do the UI in 1 episode. Why not?
All right. So this will be really real world, right? Because we're starting the sprint, but you don't have all the requirements yet. So we're going to do it in the sprint. We're going to get the requirements. So here we go. All right. I am going to share kind of what we're talking about here. Let's see. All right. Boom. Okay, so we currently use Calendly to do our scheduling for our episodes. And I just took some screenshots of what that UI provides. And what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to try and build some presentational components to get some of the initial UI bits created for what we're going to be building for our application, right? And so right now we have this calendar kind of look on the far left where one of our guests can pick an open day, right? It shows the days that are open and they can pick one from the calendar. And then when they pick one, they get this sign up form in the middle that gives them fields that we're asking for that help us prepare for the episode. And then on the right is...
Did you see Kate's comment? I just saw it. I'm a little late on the uptake, but Kate was calling it gang programming. And I'm like,
I like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, just like beat the code to death. Also, Fergus said it's UK beer o'clock. I'm so happy you're here enjoying a beer with us.
Nice.
And coffee. But yes, continue, darling.
My friend texted me this morning, no bad Fridays. So it's Friday here. So yeah.
No bad Fridays.
No
is
bad
that like
Fridays,
a thing?
right?
Is that like
I don't know. Yeah.
a pick me up that people do that I don't?
It is now.
It is. It's a thing. It's on the interwebs now. It's official. It's probably been there before. I mean, I don't know. we didn't establish it. I'm just repeating it. All right. So the final one is the upcoming episodes, and that's kind of like our admin side where we can see the upcoming episodes and lists and kind of manage them over time or whatever. But what we want to focus on in this episode today, on our first iteration of work, is going to be creating a sign up form UI. So a presentational component for the sign up form, and then some presentation components for an episode information, as if we've collected that, right? And then a one for the list of episodes that are upcoming that would basically repeat showing those episodes. So that's the plan. Alyssa looks a little stressed. Concerns about the requirements?
No, just Yarn. Am I supposed to use npm to install Yarn, or am I supposed to use Homebrew to install Yarn?
So I used npm to install Yarn.
You did. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yo, dog, you got some package managers in your package manager.
It is a little. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go use this tong to grab another tong to grab the hot dog off the grill. Is what it feels like.
Nice. Do you use duct tape?
Alyssa, are you hungry?
I just was telling Mike this, so please forgive. I woke up at 3 a.m. with the baby, and then after that, I just couldn't fall back asleep. So I was just kind of working in my head for about 3 hours in bed. So if weird things come out, it's just from that. Mike, vote for Justin Product Manager of the Year.
That's no, I don't know about that. We'll see. Let the year unfold first, so you can find out if you want to keep that vote.
You've got product. You've got product photos and everything else. I'm on board.
I'm so excited. I got Yarn installed to work. So it was because I wasn't doing it globally, but there was nobody that was yelling at me. It was just like, hey, yeah, we installed Yarn. And then it was just like, I don't know who Yarn is. So global, we're fine. It's fine.
We're fine. Okay.
We're fine.
All right. So Alyssa's referring to the fact that like we have this repo called Platform for AngularAir up on GitHub. And I used Yarn to install our packages. And then I have this Yarn lock file in there. And so everybody's trying to get up to sync. So I guess everybody doesn't have Yarn, so they're getting Yarn now, right?
I know.
But we're gonna be
mad. I thought it lost that war, and I thought we were all okay with like. I really, really did. I thought we were like, hey, NPM and Yarn, and they were duking it out on the rugby field, and then like NPM won is where I really thought we were as a family. So I don't understand what happened.
I'm there for either. It just happens to be that this repo, I just did Yarn, and that's where it's at right now, and I didn't have enough time to confirm and get a package lock for NPM. And
did you see that sweet message? Can you highlight that one, Justin? That one's super sweet. Sai, forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but most of your streams happen kind of late night for India, but I learned a lot from your videos. Looking forward to learn more. That's really sweet of you. Thanks, man. And Fergus said, I use hair to cut my hair in reference to the meta installing Yarn with NPM. So yeah, I agree with that. Was hilarious.
All right. So here's the repo. It's public. This is what we're going to be working on. It's an NX repo. It's going to house our website, which our website right now for AngularAir, angular.com, is just a single page. We have aspirations for making it more down the road. We'll see how that goes, but that's going to live in here, as well as these UI components that we're going to build today or work on are going to be in here as a lib, kind of like a common component library. And then we will probably part two, next week, we will look at adding our scheduling application that will then use those components, right? So yeah, so that's where we're at. We've added a Storybook to our repo with some NX commands that helps with that. And so we're going to leverage Storybook to build these components in isolation. So the three of us can kind of work on that and build our own components for the UI that we're focusing on. And I will try and manage switching back and forth, sharing screens, so we can kind of take a live look at how everybody's working on stuff. Sound good?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. So who's doing who? Who's doing what? The form. Who's doing the form? Mike. All right. Mike's doing the form. Alyssa, you're going to do the
everything
else.
That
shows everything else.
Pretty much. Yeah.
The panel that shows an episode content, or the information we have for an episode, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see. So I shared the
stand up for this sprint. I am blocked on creating my component. You were referring to a generator in NX to generate a scam component.
Yeah. So let me. I'll share my screen here. I'll bring up WebStorm. Let's see. Alyssa's brain is melting.
I'll figure it out. 1 second. I just have to figure it out.
I'm ready for this.
Okay. All right. So NX has a schematic, I believe, and let me exit this presentation mode. Get back here. Okay. Font's going to be a little bit small, but that'll be okay. So in WebStorm, there's an extension or a plugin that somebody's made for NX that I use that can bring out the generator list of what's available in your project for NX. So I think that there's one for SCAM. So SCAM is just an acronym for single component and module. And it's the idea that you can create, when you generate your new component, you also create an ng module in that same component file, TS file, right? And the ng module is just there to bundle up the component so that somebody could implement just bringing in the ng module and they get that component declared, right? And it's kind of the Angular material. Well, I haven't looked at it recently, so I guess don't quote me for sure on this. But last time I looked at it, it did something very similar where you could import ng modules for specific components in Angular material, or you could also import an ng module that had a bundle of them, right? Allowing you to partition down your components so that you can bring in just what you need. You don't have to, have an ng module that has 10 components, and if you're only using one. Make sense?
I like it.
Okay. All right. So NX comes with a schematic that helps us generate that a little bit easier. So I can go and say, okay, I'm going to create this scam component. I'm going to come in here and with this UI, let's just call it.
I have the command up and running here since I'm creating my component. If you want.
Okay. Did you find it?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll add you to the stream. You can short yours.
Someone said, has Justin been relegated to a cupboard? What happened to his normal location?
I moved things around. So now I have a flat back wall with nothing on it yet. I'll get there though. There'll be some stuff back there eventually, but
I don't understand why more people don't face back their desk up to a wall. It's so convenient. Nobody's crossing your camera. You can have a nice little real backdrop, right?
Backdrop.
People who are facing the wall and then they have the exit as their backdrop. What are you doing with your? Just turn around. Just turn around, man.
I got nosy cats and kids.
Nosy cats and kids.
I have a sleepy cat, actually.
NX. So I'm getting an NX not found thing. Is that a yarn install thing? Because I did yarn install on the project itself.
So did you not read what I sent you in Slack?
I did. I blew away everything and I re-cloned the repo when you told me that. So.
Okay. So let me run this real quick. So what I'm doing is I don't have NX installed globally, so I'm running it from node modules. I'm generating the scam. I'm calling it episode form, and I want it to be in the UI common project. Because if I didn't have that, it was put in as part of the application, which I do not want. So I'm creating it as part of the library, and I'm going to create it. And I also forgot I should create a branch.
What's Cobb? What is this Cobb you speak of?
It is an alias. It's git checkout -b.
Hey, Brandon.
I'm creating a new branch.
Kate said I face the window. Yeah, that's the meta. Because then you got the light and then you got the view. You don't feel like you're in a box. It's nice.
Yeah.
I just moved and got behind something different.
Oh.
So.
Oh my God. How do you already have a screenshot of Mike's
I told you she'd love it, Mike. I told you.
Oh, yeah.
I love it so much. But seriously, how do you have that? How does you have that?
Justin's right here next to me.
I'm right there next to him.
Oh God!
I just traveled across the country, and Mike and I are hanging out.
Mike, you never answered my question. Am I in, or either of you? Am I yarn installing NX? Is that what's happening?
No, you don't need to. You don't need a global install.
I'm mystically running it from my bin folder. What are you saying?
So you have two different options. You can do what I did here, which is just reference the node modules directory where NX is, or you could tell yarn to run it as well. So I could do yarn NX generate a scam. That's not generate a scam with a scam, and I want to call it foo, and I'm just going to run with dry run. And that's just basically saying, hey, yarn, I have this binary in my node modules called NX because I'm not installing it globally, and then pass the rest of the arguments.
Oh, because Justin gave us this command to run UI common storybook. So that was what I was trying to run. You're generating. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, this was generating. The script that you're referring to would be this one that you could run yarn storybook, which will run this command.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I mean, kind of, but I'm assuming that command is how I run the application. Yes.
This is how you run storybook. To run the application, you would run npm run start.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, yarn start. Yarn start. I got you. Yarn start.
Depends on what application. That one is going to serve the default, which is the website, right?
Yes.
So we've got a NX repo, so we have multiple applications. I mean, it's not specific to NX, but we have multiple applications in this repo, right?
Yeah.
Well, not right now. We don't. Well,
But
technically we do.
we could.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Fergus said Alyssa is such a noob. Yeah. To NX, yeah.
We good. All right, we don't need to look at our dependencies.
Okay.
So am I started?
So, yeah, why don't you start? So you you generated a new component already, or are you about to?
I did. I have episode form right here. Look, it's done. It works.
All right.
It tells me it works.
Can you enhance a little bit? Font's a little small, please.
Yeah, I thought we did that, but that's okay. We're even go 1.8. That's gonna be big. That's actually not bad. We good?
Sure.
I think it's personal preference. Dumb question. Why would you run commands from command prompt and not VS Code terminal? Just where you're comfortable, I think.
For me, I am a big fan of, as I run things, that I hit Control K to clear my terminal, and in VS Code, if we hover over, I hit Control K, it's waiting for something else. So there's other things that are mapped to Control K in VS Code that it won't do what I want it to do. So I've kind of moved back to just using the terminal and switching back and forth.
All right.
So not a dumb question at all, just personal preference. And I haven't figured out a way to fix it or how I want it to work. So that's what I'm doing for now. Mr. Justin, will you do me a favor?
Yes.
In Slack, will you post the screenshots? Because I need to identify what form fields I need to capture. I need my requirements.
Your requirements. All right.
How do we want to do this? Do we want to be super official? Do I want to create a issue in GitHub and track it against that?
No, but that's for a different episode.
It's a different episode. Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's just focus on this one. We'll showcase how we can build these presentational components, use Storybook to do it, kind of rapidly build our UI, right?
Yep. All right, so I'm just going to create a note of what I need to do. And I need to capture /edit. I need a name, email, Twitter handle, and episode title. Cool. So for this, are we going to expose the ability to set these from externally?
The like pre-fill the form fields.
Yeah.
I think eventually we would maybe look at that, but like for now, this iteration that say, okay, the component's not going to support any pre-fill of form fields. So the component API here is that it needs to render the form, and then the API surface of it would be that it outputs the collected form data, right?
Okay, so is this submit button therefore going to be part of the form?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make the the submit would be an output, right? That we could have that would say, here's the form data that it collected, and then whoever uses this component can decide what it needs to do with it, right?
And this is going to be an episode. Cool. And there.
So I got a good question here. What do you guys prefer in terms of putting your decorators like that, like Mike has on a separate line, or just in front of the class field in the same line?
I do it same line, but if I don't know is this project all doing that second line business?
This component is for now, but it can change.
I just didn't know if that was a convention everything else is following.
I lean towards it on the same line because for me, when I read it, I identify it easier for me, like that. Oh, I have a decorator on that. But it's weird because when we have our component decorator and things like that, it's above the class, and so I guess on the class fields, my mind reads it easier if it's on the same one. I don't know. That's me.
Is this no longer? I thought event emitters were generics. Is that new? Am I missing something?
I brought the wrong event emitter in.
Oh. Thanks. I wanted that to be there. That's good. I don't need forms. As of right now, I don't need a constructor, so we're just not going to have one. And let's put an event in here that's going to be on submit. And I'm actually going to create a property in here that is going to be episode. And that's going to be a type episode. It has no initializer. Yep, I know it doesn't. That's okay, though.
All right, so Mike, I'm going to share you the command, the generate command for creating stories that NX provides.
I want to create stories. Yes, please do.
Yeah, it'll auto-generate stories in a project. So let me send this to you or to the. All right, so NX has this generator that it ships with for the workspace schematics called stories, and you can tell it the name of the project. So the project is like a lib or an application configured inside of your repository, and it has a key for it that represents it. And so you can say, hey, for this project, generate any stories that don't exist, storybook stories for any components that don't have a story. Yeah. And we can see here, yeah, it ran it. So it noticed that it didn't have stories files for these two components that were in our UI common lib. So it will create it if we do it without the driver.
I've got stories.
There. So now we got stories for those components. I think it just sets up like a default kind of story scenario for it. Usually the pattern is to have like a .stories.ts file next to your component TS file. I mean, you can put it anywhere and configure it anywhere, whatever fits for you. But that's kind of like a default way that it sets it up. And from there, you can then, dive into the Storybook story file and start setting up scenarios or whatever. And then we can run Storybook and see it in isolation. Would.
So here I would like to do this dot form submitted. From submit dot emit. And then here I want to pass in this dot episode. I'm done with my component code.
All right, let's put it in Storybook and let's see it. That's kind of get some initial iterations.
I said code, so I don't need my comment anymore because I now have an episode interface here, so I'm good there. And what else do I need? Oh, we need to expose this, don't we?
Not right now.
Not right. Nope. I don't need to do that.
Just you can, focus on what's at hand, right? We have Storybook to render it, so we're good to go. You can just do all your work here down in Storybook and don't have to worry about like the API for that lib, how you're going to get it out, where you're going to use it, that sort of thing.
Do I have this installed? Oh, that's not here. I'm not a Yarn user. So, okay, so I don't have @Storybook/Angular installed.
It's not in the it should be in the package JSON file. Well, you shouldn't have to have anything global except for Yarn we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I don't. But I'd have to. So let's do an LS of node modules @Storybook /Angular.
Wait, did you try and run the Storybook?
No, it's telling me that the dependency isn't there. Cannot find module @Storybook/Angular.
Oh. Interesting.
Maybe it's a VS Code issue. Let's reload the window. Do we know what it is now? No. All right. Let's see if it's an issue after we go a little bit further. So we're creating our component here. So let's try and run that, right?
Yeah, try and run Storybook.
as the script that I added. Require stack.
Oh yeah. Let's do yarn.
Thought I had done this last night. I didn't reclone or anything. I swear. Alyssa, you done your component?
I can't even get it running. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to cry. But it's fine.
I have warnings. I have an unmet peer dependency of React.
Storybook started with React at the heart of it, so I think that it probably still has a lot of. Yeah, I think it might use React for its UI.
Time for some spite-driven development. Okay.
All right. So we don't. Oh, this is probably almost done. But
Everybody is enjoying watching my stuff.
watching your packages install. All right. Run that Storybook command. Let's see if we can get that open in the browser here.
Yarn Storybook. It's better now. It likes it more.
Yay.
What port does this run on?
It'll tell you.
It'll tell me.
Yeah. It'll give you a link. I think you might need more cores, Mike.
I need more cores. Yes.
All right, there we go.
So if I'm local, I use this URL. But if I'm on my network, then I use this same URL.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Cool. Can you
I'm storying my book.
Enhance that a bit? Zoom that in a bit, please. Perfect. All right, so you got your new episode form component. Cool. It doesn't have any inputs, right? It does have an output, so that can be wired up so we could see feedback in the actions. Go to actions. I don't think it gives it by default. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Go back into Storybook.
I did not mean to do that.
Uh-oh. All right, that's now you've got a different config. Oh, there you go. Okay.
I got it. I just moved it to the side. We're good.
Oh.
Yes, it does work. Okay. What do we have here? Grid, size, ruler. Here. Sorry, go ahead. What were we saying?
Okay, so go back to your component. Go to your Storybook. Yeah, your stories file.
Oh, story. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so primary.args down there in line 21 through 22 is going to be like what we can set up for the parent component that's rendering our component. So when we think about like wiring up inputs and outputs, we can do that using this like primary args, right?
Okay.
It is going to know about our typing here. I hope so. So go in there and in that object, we have an output, right? What's the name of the output? Form submit. See that? So it told us, right?
Yep.
That it knows about it. And then colon.
Okay. And this is the function that I wanted to do, right? So I could potentially do this.
Yes, but potentially, I think. But Storybook comes with these helper functions to wire up to like actions and knobs and things like that. I'm trying to remember because I've been working on an older version of Storybook recently that would use a function called action, and you could put action. So let's try that. Try action here. I don't remember. I don't know what the latest one is. So is there something from Storybook that
I do not see
exports action?
No.
Okay. So we might need to hit the docs really quick on Storybook to find out, like, how do we wire up the action? Oh, there, you can go back into Storybook, and it had a link there for you.
Oh, and from the terminal?
No, in the UI for Storybook. So go back to your running Storybook. And there, learn how to add controls. Story's not configured to have controls. Learn how to add controls. I didn't see one for actions, but you could probably get to it from here. So actions, yeah, on the left, actions. Cool. All right,
so this is what I'm looking for here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Oh, you just give it an object with action, something like that.
Action clicked. Let's try that. So here, this is an object here, and the action is clicked. That's not how you spell action, first of all.
Toin.
Actoin. Cannot find name clicked. So
I think it takes a string, right?
Oh. Okay. Not assignable to type event emitter. I don't necessarily. This is on args. This is what is default.
I'll take a look and see if I can find this too.
No problem. So arg types on this button. Is that?
It was my version of Node. It's running now.
You're running awesome.
Yay.
Is there documentation? Oh, see, hold on, Justin. We're looking at the React docs here. Let's switch over and look at Angular. Okay. Controls for Angular. Let's go back to actions under Angular. It says to do the same stinking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Action event handlers. But see, this is not what it looks like from within here. There's an advanced README. Oh.
I wonder if we need an add-on now for actions.
The actions add-on is used to display data received by event handler. You can use arg types to tell Storybook that your arg and arg to your story should be an action. At the component level. All right, so let's take a look at here.
Oh, yeah. That starts sounding familiar.
Props are args, and that's what's coming in. Let's comment that out. So this is where... Okay, so this is an individual story, and this is our setup.
Yeah, I think of these as like this 20 through 23 would be the scenario.
Okay.
Right. And so you could make multiple ones. This one's called primary, or your default one, right? And then you would name the different ones like with blue theme or whatever you want, right? And you copy 20 through 23 and set up the with different inputs or whatever. Yeah.
Here, I should be able to do form submit, right? What is props? An I collection. That is exactly what I was looking for. Export defaults. Was it MDX? Nope. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to specify. This is parameters to the component.
Okay, so default arg types. So put an arg types on there. On that object right there.
Can I do parameter? No, I can't do that here. Say it again.
Do arg types right there. So as another, no, not there, sibling to component and props. and then colon, an object, and then let's name your, whatever your output name is, what form submit. And then action. Yeah. Let's try that.
Yep, I'm just going to get rid of this change here.
Of course, we don't have a button.
No, I do not have a button. However, let's just temporarily, right? So inside here, we do this on submit. Let's just add an ng on init, and then inside here, when it initializes, we want to call this dot on submit.
Before we started this episode, Alyssa's like, "Hey, Justin, I don't know that we can build all these UI components in an hour." I'm like, we got this, right? She's like, "We should probably just focus on the form." And brilliant. I mean, that's where we're going. So you knew it.
I felt a little claustrophobic when you said we're going to do all of these. I was like, and they're going to be wired. Like, it's not just a mock-up. And he was like, yes.
Yeah, we got it.
All right. I'm going to fully admit that usability of this is going to be bad for right now, but we're just going to put a button here.
So there's a question in the chat. What is Storybook for a beginner like me? From Sai.
Justin, you want to take that or you want me to?
Yeah, I can take that. So Storybook is a utility that provides a couple things, right? One of the big things is it provides the ability to work components in isolation, meaning that you can build your components, like in the case of Angular, and it supports multiple things, Angular, React, I think Vue, a couple other things. But in our case, we're talking about Angular. So if we're building our Angular components, typically when we're building these components, we have to have an app where we're going to run them in or have them in so that we can see it in the browser, right? Storybook effectively is that app. It gives us a way to have a UI that says, okay, render this component, render that component. It doesn't have to be within the scope of our app that we're building. It allows us to see that component running in the browser, interact with it, set up, test scenarios and things like that. And then beyond that, it allows you to have like a full kind of design system and inventory management. It surfaces all of your components that you have stories for. It allows you to build out the navigation of collection of how people can discover them. Like you can ship an instance of Storybook application for your version and put it on a network, put it somewhere that's accessible to the team so that the team could kind of go to that Storybook application and see the inventory of all the components you have available, see examples of how to use them, scenarios of, when they're used this way or that way. So it's kind of like full design system documentation around your actual UI implementation. So lots of stuff, but, and it's not just for components in isolation, it's, directives. And when we talk about Angular, it's directives and pipes as well. You basically get this opportunity to, through their API, you can say, oh, well, Storybook this component, or you could say Storybook this chunk of HTML, and inside of it, I'm going to write what I'm going to render. And so maybe that's, using a directive or using a pipe, but that's it in a nutshell.
So let's look at Angular.
All right. Did you get that? Is your button working here?
I have the button there, but I'm not actually seeing it. So I just copied what they have. That my event is not form is called form submit. And the action is submitted. And when I try and look at that in here, I'm not seeing any actions even when I click this.
What is this mystery of how do we wire up actions here with the new API? I don't know it offhand.
Well, I do have double archetypes. What is this? Reset zoom. Let's make sure that my component is good, right? So if I come in here, that in my HTML, I just have a button. When I click it.
What, did he wire up that button to like shut down his computer?
I know, like last time I streamed with him, his computer just was like, no, and it just stopped.
No.
So maybe that's what happened. Like, did you?
I'm back.
Yeah. What did it?
Yeah, I'm not happy with how Chrome is running right now, and it's annoying the snot out of me.
I just saw your shirt. Show it off, Mike.
Do you want a backstory or no?
There's a backstory? I just assumed you had a killer observable shirt. What's the back?
So when Shai, Resnick, Pete, Bacon, Darwin, and myself were trying to do, we started prepping our Switch map talk for NGConf 2018. We were going to do a real life living marble diagrams by throwing balls across the stage to show different operators. And we came up with the amazing name of Observaballs. And the name stuck. And even though we took the talk in a different direction, the name stuck, and Shai made t-shirts. So this should be working. So if I look here, if I put in my component code, even though it's emitting nothing, I should be able to do a console log of submit the form event. Am I able to see console messages in Storybook? We shall see.
Oh, that's ugly.
No, you just in your DevTools.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's here. So it should be doing that, but we are not able to listen to the event here. I do not wish to add controls. I wish to know that my form was submitted. That's just then getting the type from here. Because the way that this looks, let's do cons template equals story. And if we were to do a googly search for that, and we were to do actions event emitter, build a simple component. That's what I'm trying to do.
So for Storybook, am I allowed to just like create markup, or does it have to be like Storybook generated markup kind
of? No, you're building your component the way you normally build it.
And there's no like, and it has to have this class, or it has to have like this. It's just okay.
Nope. But if you want to, in Storybook, you could you could put a scenario in Storybook where you say my component with this class on it, right? So you can set up those scenarios. But at the lowest level, you can set it and say, okay, I'm building my component. Storybook's the application that it's going to run in, so I could see it in the browser, and just start from there, and then do all your component work. It'll live reload for you, and basically allow you to see your component in the browser without having to have it running in an app, right?
I Googled the results, and I think I got it. That's what I'm going with it. I've got it.
All right. What did you find? Let me see.
I Googled.
All right. What did Googly tell you?
It told me that I needed to use action.
That's what we were trying to get to first, but it didn't find it.
It did not.
I bet my web storm would have found it. Maybe that was why. So did you just manually paste it? It's like I'm out. All right. Okay. So yeah. So there's a helper function from now. This may be the legacy API for Storybook that it's supporting. Maybe for us. I don't know. Is this the actual way?
No,
it works.
I think we're good here. This is fine. It's because it works.
Okay. Cool. So this is our way that we can, in Storybook, wire up to outputs from our components, so we can see those outputs working. If we had inputs, we can do that for the inputs as well, and stage the different scenario data that we hand to it. We could also leverage Storybook has a UI part where you can modify those inputs on the fly in the browser. So if we had an input, we could change that. Do you want to show that really quick? Well, you could put an input for like one of those fields as like a preset.
Possibly. I was emitting.
I see you using emit. I like it.
Yeah, we're going to use an input with type equal text. Right.
So let's call it what emit is. Does anybody want to talk about that?
It's a super fast typer. It allows you to generate HTML very quickly. So what I'm saying here is that I want to create something with a class of form element. And by default, that creates a div. And I want to create 4 of those. Inside there, I want to create a label. And actually, I want to do next to the label, I want to create an input. And on that input, it's going to be of type text.
I write my divs from scratch because I'm a baller from scratch. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then you type a lot.
Listen to me. When Ward Bell told me he does not use the Angular CLI to generate a new component, but that he just types that sucker out, I was empowered, man. So if you're out there typing your divs with the brackets and the divs and the, keep on at it, man. Keep on at it.
So I should be able to do this, right? On submit.
I don't always use the generator to generate components.
Oh my God, you're at that level too. I feel like that's ghost level, like you just beyond,
It's just, different ways to do different things, right? And whatever floats your boat. I don't know.
Sorry, Justin, I wanted to create that HTML. What would you like me to do?
I was just saying that we could show an input if we wanted to like have a preset value for one of the form fields. Just to show it in Storybook, right?
Yeah, so I want to create an input. And what do you want to do? Name as an input here?
Yes, sure.
Has no initializer. I know it doesn't. Okay. Well,
Mike's over here yelling at it.
New strict typing.
Okay, it's a string. We good? All right.
Now in your template, put that name, use that name somewhere in your template, right?
Okay.
Or wherever you want to put it. Are you going to do template forms and use that?
I am.
Episode object class field.
Yeah, so maybe I don't use the episode thing here and I don't have that property. So let's get rid of that. And
yeah, I like it.
We're going to emit this that's going to have name on it. Sorry.
Hey, let's go all template. I got a suggestion for you.
What's that?
You got in your template, you can, in the submit method, pass in the form from the template, and then your on submit method here in line 35 can take in whatever was handed and just pass it along, right?
Like that.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to type it, right? So yeah, that's. And
then inside the HTML. And here I need to be able to create a reference to the form.
Mm-hmm.
Get your hashtags on the ready.
Oh man, see, and you're gonna have to bring in the forms module, right? For your component.
I feel like you're unhappy with this solution, Justin.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm happy with everything that y'all are doing. I'm just, my mind is going, oh my gosh, now we need this and this and this. And so
okay.
I'm making you bite off too much, right? We got 3 minutes left today. So it's like, I don't know.
I know I'm not using that.
We'll fast forward a little bit. We got this.
Forms, the forms lives on common, right?
I was thinking maybe I could, between now and next week, I could mock out all of just the UI and the like styles, and then you can show me what you mean about plugging certain things into Storybook, and we can just start there. Be like, here's this page, here's that page.
Yeah,
and that way people aren't watching us like create markup, but then you can show the power maybe of Storybook, or is the power of Storybook before you start mocking up? Maybe.
That's the latter, right? Like you can you
There we go.
can be building your stuff in your component, and Storybook is just there so you can see it running in the browser while you do that.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
still hear you, but it's yelling at you. Argument of type.
Oh, I know. My machine's locked up.
Form. Oh,
Of course.
What is your machine, Mike? It's been giving you some problems.
It has, and it's Chrome.
Did you just say your machine was Chrome?
No, Chrome is what's been giving me issues.
Okay. Listen, if your computer can't handle a browser, you have issues. Got him.
But can you? Am I moving? Am I? Or
Yeah,
no?
you're moving. Your
You're
code's
moving.
not moving.
Your code's
We
not
just have
moving.
ng mo right now.
That's all I have too. But I can't edit my.
GoFundMe to buy Mike a new laptop. Got him.
Would you like me to be Scrum Master right now, Mike? Are you blocked? Do we need to submit a issue to the help desk to get your computer fixed? Or
You can blame Chrome as much as you want, but
Chrome's using a lot of power right now.
Chrome can. It's its prerogative. It's its right to use that power. If you can't provide that power, that's on you. That's not on Chrome. Okay.
I'm good. Wow, look at it, it's spiking. I've never been at 30%.
I don't want to say it, but I do. Like, I mean, I love VS Code. I love it. I love it. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it.
Yeah.
But
tell us more.
Isn't it running Electron that's running Chrome? That maybe is why it's locking up. I don't know.
He said it.
I'm just troubleshooting. That's all. I love VS Code as much as I love WebStorm. I love them all. I do. I'm just wondering. No?
Hi,
I can't do
Upsar.
anything.
All right. All right.
So here's what's interesting. I can still work in Slack. Slack still works.
That is a great, debugging thought there.
Why?
And it uses Electron as well, right? So
wait. I see you guys moving again.
Oh, we were frozen? Was it at least a flattering pose?
No.
No, it was not.
Because I had all my confusion rocking. All right. Let's see if
if we can get your code back up, we could add the form fields. We could see outputting our form fields, and we could see the input working. And I think that would be a good wrap. But depends on if you can get back up and going here. Is it ready? Let me share.
Yeah.
All right.
Where'd my VS Code crashed again?
No. There's nothing more than I love. 4 inputs stacked upon each other with no padding. It is my favorite.
All right. So my label,
it's like the excitement of you don't know what you're filling out. Like you can just
what is this for?
You could like de-stress and be like, oh, I didn't have to really know about my name. I could just put whatever.
Whatever. It's a free form. Get it? Free form.
I what you did there.
So I'm not passing anything into name at this point.
You're not? What?
No. It's binding to it. So if I were to say foo here, actually, this is probably not going to work.
Where's your button? Put your button back.
I have to add a submit button here, right? So button type equals.
Why is it yelling at episode form?
Because it doesn't like what I am put there. So I can say submit.
You just say like dot value, or is it what's?
I was thinking that because this is the reference to the form.
Yeah, you dot value.
Dot value on it.
And it's probably going to complain because it's not typed.
It's
expecting an episode object type, right? So put an any on that on submit, maybe.
Oh my God! Yes. How? What? Where? Oh, you're not talking
value
about
comes from an index signature, so it must be accessed with this.
Right. Why? Okay, no, stop right this minute. You read absolute gibberish, and you were like, what? What? What the frick?
Alyssa, I too create templates by hand. or components by hand.
It's just because you read that before and then you tried like a different way of accessing the value. Like, why did you know index signature meant I can't say dot value? Why did you know that, Mike?
Wait, why does it tell me form submitted as the name? That's odd.
I like that font.
Yeah.
So
nice. I was expecting this to, because here I'm getting the actual property. I think it's whatever's coming out of here.
Hi, Fawaz. And Ricardo said I would blame some extension too, or whistle.
Yeah, because you gotta use the export as value for the template form directive. It's not hash episode form. It's like, what is it? Man, it's been a minute since I've done the template forms, but it's like,
no, let's
bracket
look at
ng form equals whatever.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, yeah. ng model, form, template form, Angular. That should be enough to find it. Building a template driven form. Yep. Sample. Where's my code? Template. Nope. Template. HTML. No.
Gotta scroll way down. Equals ng form. So in your template. Yeah, there we go. And then now you probably, well, your brackets would probably be fine, but give it a try.
Where did this go? Oh, that's where I wanted to be.
Warm it up, Mike.
Yeah, let's refresh this and see what's going on. So if I come in here and I say Bob's your uncle. Right. Oh, wait, I was console login, wasn't I? It's an object that has nothing on it.
That is some tiny font. Thank you.
Welcome. There's nothing in here. If I'm using that, though, do I then not need to use the submit event?
Ricardo, Mike, you just nuked my imposter syndrome by Googling it. I love it.
And
we all Google. Submit. I Google, or whatever browser, whatever search engine you do. Like my thought as a developer is like, I'm going to try and retain the information that I need to retain that's important. And if I know how to find it, then I'm going to let something else store it. And for me, search engine, websites, blogs, those have the answers. As long as I remember how to find those quickly, then I feel like I'm empowered to say, okay, store that information there, not in my brain, right?
Are you not worried about ever having to program without, search engines? Like, you don't think that day will ever come? Where
because I program for the web, and that's where I love. So, like, if I don't have the web and the internet, then the whole system breaks down. But then I don't,
I'm not specifying the name property.
Work a garden or something. I would love to do that.
You're not specifying the name property?
Yeah.
On your input?
Name.
But you changed submit to ng submit. Does it need to be that?
Yes.
It does?
That's what the doc said.
Oh, okay.
I readed it. No errors.
Like you did it again, or
Bob's here. So we're binding appropriately. Submit. Name Bob. We've got it. So what else do we need? We need the other properties. So let's add those in real quick. Right? So we have name. Email, Twitter, title. Right?
Well, if you want to pre-fill them, but that's just like, I think we just do pre-fill the name to show an example, right?
Look, we're good.
Okay.
Not all
you want to be able to pre-fill this form. All right. You're making the API for this component to support pre-filling these fields. Got it.
Exactly. We weren't going to do it, but we needed to. So let's come in here. We need to say name equal.
Then here's where I like this, because this UI is about the form, right? And we're not thinking in terms of building the form for episode submissions. We're thinking about building the form to fulfill the UI, right, with this presentational component. So realistically, if we build it in this way, we could use this same component, this UI component, for the form for a new submission. We could also use it for the edit of an existing submission, right? Because the UI that we're building is not caring about why it's being used. It's caring about what its functionality is saying render a form, collect that information, also support pre-filling the form. All right, so you got these fields. Cool. All right, let's add a control.
I thought I was done. I was going.
We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Go into your stories TS file.
Stories TS. Got it.
Okay. Yes, he does that.
There,
Mike, if he can ever use more than one cursor, he does.
Oh yeah. So what I was doing real quick is that I highlighted all three of these. So if I copy those, I can come down and I can paste all three, or I can put three cursors. And then I can type 3 times. Where's the third one? I lost it. All right. Where did the other one go? I don't know. We're going to create some lines. We can create 3 and paste all of them. Kind of cool.
Multi-cursor, right?
Multi-cursor.
Cool.
Super performance boost for yourself. All right. Sorry. Stories. Justin, go.
All right. So in that args right there, put name. And let's give it a value. Yeah, cool. Now switch to Storybook.
What? Break something. There we go.
Now click on controls. So we have a name, and it gives you automatically the ability to edit it. Ooh, look at that.
I like it.
All right. So with Storybook, we had very minimal that we needed to do, but now we can not only work our component, but we can support using Storybook's UI, be able to like test values and send things in and get crazy and wacky like Mike's doing, but basically have a way to start, really feeling out the component that we're building, the API for it, get, testing it. You can imagine if we're rendering like a name field for display and we're making our component, it's supposed to be real narrow, but you put my full name in it, doesn't support it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can work through all these things without having to do things like we've done in the past where it's, oh, well, I got to launch my application and go to this screen that has my component on it and then test things. And then when I save my component file, it hot reloads and then it takes me back to a different route because the whole application reloads, whatever. Like all that stuff is gone and you can rapidly build your component out and your API out using Storybook, which to me is exciting.
So am I doing this correctly that I would say name is Justin, we're going to use you. Your email is justin@angularair.com. I have no idea if that's your real email address. Twitter is going to be @AngularAir. And what's the other one? Title?
Go back. Yeah. Wait. Go back and ask, does VS Code give you intelligence? Intelligence, right?
For that?
Because this should know.
It should know.
It knows like what your component.
You start typing T, like it's one of these, like.
It is.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the title is going to be live coding, right? So in Storybook, then, if I refresh it blowed up. So I can go to the different one. So if I go to primary, this is what's here, and if I go to pre-filled, it doesn't.
So go back to your stories file. This is a good little example. Okay, so if you scroll up, you see that is defining the default, and it's just setting up the component, right? Yep. But when we created that component, we had a dependency on the forms module, right? So what Storybook is doing is Storybook is basically making an ng module for our component at that time, but it's not bringing in what we need. So that's why it's failing, right?
So why did it blow up initially? Or why didn't it blow up now?
I don't know why at runtime it gives you that at one point, but not at the other.
So this is not mine, right?
Right. What you're doing is Storybook is building a parent component and a parent ng module to render your thing that you're telling it to render, right?
Yep.
Giving it a home for it. So you could do what you're doing there, which says but now if your imports for your component needs 7 things, you have to put that in here if you did that way, right? But
instead of doing this,
yep,
I should, in theory, be able to import this, right?
And now ditch line 10. Because you don't need this parent thing to declare that component anymore because it comes as part of your module. Provided your module is exporting it. Is your module exporting it?
Yes, it was. I checked earlier.
Okay.
So it is working now.
There you go.
So if I come down here and I submit, I should see that it emits everything that we defaulted in here. And I'm kind of disappointed that the two of you did not comment at my amazing styling abilities.
I told you.
Yeah,
4 inputs stacked on top of each other with no padding does it for me. I said those words.
I must have missed it as I was coding. I apologize.
Awesome. All right. Well, we went over time, but we started a little late, so maybe we were close to the same time.
Sorry, any errors on Mike's part?
We'll just pretend that didn't happen, Mike. We'll just erase that from
no, it's telling me the VS Code disconnected from WSL.
No. All right. So we got, the forum set up. We got that going. I think that everybody
easily set up.
Yeah,
no issues. First try.
Done.
Done.
No, I think, what do you think about the game plan? I can mock out the views, just the views, and then you guys can show me a little bit more of Storybook magic. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it up. And if you need to override it all, because it's wow, that was not how we do. Because I'm wondering, every single one of these views, Justin, can you show the what we're making real quick slide again?
Yeah.
Each one of those, should they be, I'm wondering how small to make each component. So essentially, should there be each one of those is their own, or even smaller than that, where label and input is a component, and then that's where you how far down are we going on this train? Do we know?
I mean, I think that we can take it as far as we want to go in terms of atomic design and getting smaller and reusable. I think that that's where we want to be, and so you can think about as you go in there, making that right. Okay. And I would suggest from that standpoint of what you're talking about, to me, it sounds like you're talking about making the HTML and CSS for that presentation, right? Not really worrying about the functionality, but just making that presentation. If you just start making these components in there in that UI common lib, right? And you can go as far as the button, make a button component, make then the list, right, or whatever the item. Make those components, put the HTML and CSS in there, have the Storybook story file in there so you can see it running in the browser.
Yeah.
That allows you to prototype and build the UI visual layout by building the Angular component to do so and being able to see it in the browser, right? Does that make sense?
Yep. I like it.
Side note, if you set padding to 10 EM, because your co-hosts said stuff about your styling, you don't see anything because it's basically not rendered into the view.
Off the viewport. Yes, awesome.
I think that's what happened is WSL said, this guy's being a jerk right now. I'm going to crash so he doesn't put that foot forward.
Yeah, it just node you. I find that your software does that a lot. It says just no. It just no. Yeah. I'm excited though. I will try to fast forward a little bit so that we can fit all of it into 3 sections. Justin, I know that you were your brain was spinning in a million directions. Outside of let's say we start next episode, we've got things mocked. We're going to plug in functionality. Then what? Then actually making the email list work and what's the next?
Yeah. So I was thinking that next episode, so next week, part 2, we can add the application that's going to be, or applications that are going to be for sign up, right? and start using these components and wiring the behavior up, right? So actually, deciding what we're going to do with sending that data off. And I was thinking initially that maybe we use Firebase, and we can maybe use that. But I was thinking that because I thought that if we were doing the calendar and somebody was going to the calendar to pick an open date, we'd want that real time to update if somebody took one of those days on them, right? But even if we didn't do the calendar well, it depends. And if we do the form approach where we just say, hey, go to the form, fill it out, and then from there we can talk about an episode date, then we don't really have that hard requirement for like Firebase for real time. So it could kind of be anything. But
I'm just excited because Calendly's, when you try to block off dates and you try to, and I mean, honestly, I think we're going to probably run into some issues with time zones as well. But when you try to say, okay, I want to make a special episode and it's going to be this time in this time zone, Calendly has some weird buffer algorithm where like, if it's not exact, it's just going to show the day as like not an option. And so I feel like I'm hoping we can make that a little bit smoother for the admin side of booking, where we're like, no, seriously, just open the Tuesday up, right? Like, I don't care what time zone they're in. So I think I'll be a fun coding challenge.
Yeah. And like I said, like we love Calendly. It's awesome. It just kind of, for what we need something kind of, lightweight and quick for the only thing that we are really needing to do, which is set up the scheduling for our episodes. And so just trying to kind of hack together something that fits our needs and is lower, lightweight and smaller. And
Have either of you ever built anything that does like that will hook into like calendar integration to like send off those calendar invites?
Not yet.
I have back in the day, but it was mostly around
I'm really excited to see like how that's, because I'm like, oh, how does
we're excited to watch you code it.
How does one make a calendar invite?
So like I've done it back in the day where you make like the iCal file or that sort of file, and then it's all about taking that file format and somebody opening it up and it puts it into their application. But I know there's a bunch of other ways now in terms of direct hooking, connecting in, so that'll be interesting. So I was thinking like next episode, we can start using the UI, wiring some stuff up in an app, and maybe even get like a data layer in there to persist that information. Yeah. And then episode 3, we could dive into, kind of connecting like what happens after that's submitted and see where we can kind of overview on that.
Perfect.
I may do some interim things with this on Twitch as well.
Nice. All right, cool. The repo's up there. We'll be committing to it. Everybody can kind of see it and check it out as we're going along. And then, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully there was some good information there about like Storybook and UI development, and kind of went through a bunch of different fun things. So.
Oh, Sai had a cool video request for solid principles in Angular, like a basics. I love that. DM me on Twitter if you have any other requests, anybody ever, for AngularAir, and I can try to source it to maybe there's a solid, expert in Angular or something. But I love that request. Thank you for sending that in.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. Here's the solid expert.
Wait, I'm looking the wrong way. This way. Who you guys pointing to? All right. Do you want to do picks? You may have any picks.
Template forms. They're easy.
Nice. Good marketing.
I recently did an episode of UI Mondays on Code It Live Twitch, and Catherine was showing me Cascade Layers in CSS. Pretty cool stuff. And it's out for like in some browsers, so you can use it right now, not in all of them. But it's really cool stuff where it's essentially letting you define layers in your CSS in addition to the hierarchy that already exists. And I think it's really cool stuff. So check it out.
Nice.
What is your Twitch mic? I said he is Broco Dev.
I'm typing in the chat right now.
Broco Dev.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm waiting for your message in chat to come before we wrap it up. Okay, there we go. Broco Dev.
I can't post links, so that's the best I can do.
Sorry, is it Broco? I always say Broco.
It is Broco.
I'm sorry, Mike. You can call me Alicia.
It depends on the region that you're in, right? In your pronunciation.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin.
All right. It's Friday. Time for some wine. All right.
That was very excellent of you, Zach's wife.
Yep, exactly.
I gotta separate you two. All right.
This was fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a wrap. Let's have a good one, everyone. We'll catch you next week. Tune in. Part 2 should be fun. Later.